Hey everybody, welcome back to Level Pixel Level. Today I'm just going to continue with the knight character, and I just want to add some more IK functionality to the foot. Just a really simple IK roll, nothing too advanced, just so that I can get some interesting rotation on the foot controls here. So let's get right to it. I'm just going to isolate the control rig real quick. And I'm just going to flip to edit mode. So I really like adding the IK roll. It's one of the funnest things to do in rigging. And I'm just going to do it by actually duplicating this bone here. So I have this one selected. I'm just going to do Shift D and drag it down. So I want this to be right on 0 on the Z, and I can just do this manually by entering the values for the head and the tail here to 0 and 0. I grab the tail of the bone and I'm just going to flip it over to here. And this is going to represent the back and the front of my foot. So I'll just exit isolation mode and I'll just move it to the back. I can adjust this later if I want to. I don't have to keep it in track right now. And the front. Okay, so I'll isolate it again, and I'm going to click on the tail of the bone here, and I'm just going to turn on snap up here and make sure I'm on vertex. I can extrude this out, and I want to snap it right here to the part of the toe right there. And I'm going to extrude it out again and snap it to the heel right here. So now if I flip to pose mode, I have something like this. I have this rotation here, and this rotation here, and another rotation here, but it's just got the shape on it right now, so I'm just going to remove that shape. It has the shape because I duplicated it from another bone. Before I move on, I just want to grab these bones and move them to a new group. So I have them all selected. And under bone groups, I'm just going to add a new one. I'm going to call it IK foot. I'm going to click assign, and I'm going to make them blue for now. So this is going to become my main heel controller here. Let's just go back to edit mode and just look at the axes real quick, just to make sure my rolls are fine before I mess with this. I want all the default rolls just for this to be on the x-axis. Okay, so right now this is sticking out on the z-axis right here, meaning I have to turn the z-axis to rotate the heel. I'm going to come to here under the roll, I'm going to flip it to 0, and that makes it the x-axis down here. So what this means, if I flip back to pose mode, when I click on this and rotate on the X, oops, they are on quaternion, so I just got to fix that real quick. Actually, I'm just going to hit A to select everything and do Control R, XYZ Euler. Now when I have this gizmo here, I can rotate it on the X axis to get that rotation. Let me show you what it was before again. I'll just flip the roll back to -90. That's what it was before. And now if I flip, sorry, I should have been in local mode. It's the Z axis that rotates it on that main plane. Again, I just want it to be the X axis for this example. So put that back to 0. This one is looking okay. It's kind of tough to see. Yeah, it's the Z axis as well, so I'll put the roll to 0. And I'll do the same with this one as well. Sometimes it can be tough to see when they're sort of laid on top of each other like that. What I will do with these bones actually is I'll move them to a new bone layer. So right now everything is in this layer. I can just move them over one layer. Then I have them isolated here and my main rig over there. So if I hold shift in this panel, I can turn on multiple layers. And if I click, I can just turn on one layer. So I'm going to do a fairly simple setup for this. I'm not going to do any single chain IK splines or anything. I'm just going to do this with parenting. This bone right here is my IK parent, and we parented it to this control right here. So instead, I'm going to take this and parent it to this control here. So I'll go to edit mode, I'll do Control P, keep offset. The toe control here, I want to parent to this one right here. I'll flip to edit mode, I'll do Control P, keep offset. And to wrap this all up, I want this one parented back at the heel control here. So I'll select on it, select on the foot, go to edit mode, Control P, keep offset. So let's look at this hierarchy. I have my foot control here, which rotates from the ankle, and I like that rotation, and it's taking the rest of the foot roll with it. This foot roll here allows me to rotate up from the heel. Now it is going to pull the ankle with it, which means I do lose that orientation of my ankle control. If this was an animation rig, I might go into a bit more detail, but I just want a really simple setup for this character. If I select on this controller here, let's bring back the character. I can rotate from the toe. So I can push that toe up, or I can even drag it into the ground. this control here lets me pivot on that heel control there. So it's a really simple IK setup. Let's flip off the axes and I'll turn it back to X-ray so you can see what's sort of happening. So just to wrap this up, let's add some control shapes. These 3 bones here, I do not need control shapes on. I'm actually going to move them to a new layer. I can almost hide them. I do want a control shape on this, and I do want a control shape on all 3 of these just so I can move things around. I'll quickly though just go through and rename them. Okay, I have nice naming on all that. I noticed that these bones didn't move to a new layer. That's because I moved them in pose mode. When you move bones to new layers in pose mode, it only does what's selected, which is kind of annoying. If you flip to edit mode though, and you move the bones in edit mode, it'll move the left and the right if you have X-axis mirror turned on. Okay, so I'm just going to add some shapes to these. I'm going to do real simple shapes for this. Probably just circles actually, so I'll just add a circle shape. Now I'll just move it over. And this is circle 005. I'm hoping I can use this for most of these here. So this one here, I'll just go to custom shape and I'll do circle 05. I'll do the same thing for this one here. And now I can just edit this down. I'll probably just scale it. For now, I'll just do that. I'm not too worried about that shape. Let's try it for the toe as well too. Perfect. All right, so let's try it for the heel control here. That's looking okay. I think I don't like the way that that axis is though. I actually want it to be custom, so I'm just going to duplicate this, move it over. And so I'll give that circle 06. I'll just grab this and scale this up a bit. And I'll rotate it by 90 degrees on the x-axis. Yes, that's going more the direction of the foot. But that one is 6 as well. And let's try the toe with 6 as well too. Okay, that's looking okay. The only problem is that these 2 controls are kind of stacked on top of each other. So I'm going to duplicate this again and move it over for circle 07. And for the toe control here, I'll just make it 7. I'll make this one 7 as well. And then in the actual shape itself, I'm just going to pull it forward. So if I grab this and flip to edit mode and just pull it forward on the Y, I move that towards the center of the toe. I'll bring back the character and I'll flip to X-ray mode and I'll just probably grab these now and just scale them up a little bit in viewport. As I scale that up though, I am kind of losing its location. I can just grab on the shape and move it back in the Y just to kind of move it back to its location. Just turn off snap. Cool, so that's looking good for that control. This one here is kind of tough to see though, so I'll just select them both and just scale them up. Yep, that's looking good like that. Okay, so I like these controls. They're fairly simple shapes. Just something to get my IK foot working out. Big thank you to my patrons for supporting me and this video. It's because of you guys that I can continue to make these videos. Head over there if you want early access, exclusive content, and some behind the scenes videos as well. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.